What's up, guys? Welcome back to Storytime with Uncle John, where we pluck stories from Reddit and around the web that interest me, you, and at least 3 other people. Today's stories are going to be from r/choosingbeggars. I asked the other day what some of your favorite subreddits were to listen to on YouTube and Spotify and whatever, and r/choosingbeggars came up quite a few times, so I figured let's do an episode of that. There's a few tech support stories that popped up over the weekend, but, I kind of got to give it a break and let them build up a little because there's just not that many. I don't know if it was people out enjoying the sun and fun or whatever, but, sometimes you got to give it a little rest and let it grow. Anyway, let's get to the stories. I'm looking for a newborn's car seat for a boy. I'm due any day now. I was given one, but unfortunately it's pink. If anyone's willing to trade or maybe even donate a boy one, it would be greatly appreciated. Prayer emoji. And one of the comments down below says, is she worried about the other babies making fun of him for having a pink car seat? Another comment says, they sell replacement covers, but my guess is they don't want to pay for anything. Absolutely right. Ungrateful, want everything for free, and just want to be totally catered to. When your kid's that age, like an infant, first of all, I don't believe colors make or break your life choices, how your orientation ends up, none of that stuff. So I know traditionally pink would be girls, boys would be blue and all that stuff, but I don't put a lot of stock in that. I mean, shoot, back in the early 90s, I was wearing pink shirts to bounce at a biker bar. Nobody cared. And that was in the early 90s. Surely today, pink shouldn't be a big deal for anything, especially an infant kid. And honestly, if OP's that worried about it, they could always go and buy a dye kit and dye it a different color. Make it all black. This one says, struggling but needs bookcases, home decor, and rugs. In search of. I start my new job on the 10th, but I'm just struggling a little now, till I start work this week. Stuff to make my 5-year-old son's room cool, he says. Dinosaurs, cars, trucks, Minecraft, Fortnite, typical boy stuff. Extra cat food and litter, big trash bags, dish soap, cleaning stuff. Laundry soap or pods and fabric softener. No Tide, please. Wow. Home decor items for my living room and bathroom. Storage drawers and plastic totes. Rugs, area carpets, any size. Sheets, spelled with a Z, of course it is. Queen, full, and twins. Kitchen items, bookshelves, and storage racks. And then down at the bottom, located in blank. I don't drive, so I'd be so blessed if you could drop the items off. God bless you so much. One of the commenters says, why do these people never drive but assume that everyone else does? And then right below that, why do they have pets that they can't afford? How true, how true. Next comment says, I see these posts quite a bit. My question is, does this actually work? Are there people who see this and legitimately contribute to this list of items and drop them off at the OP's location? They have to be successful to some degree because I keep seeing so many of them, right? I'm sure there are quite a few who are at least somewhat successful because you keep seeing them over and over. I mean, most people aren't crazy enough to keep trying something if it doesn't at least work once or twice. But then again, there are some hard heads out there who will keep trying, no matter what, to keep begging off of other people, getting really choosy about what they're getting and the condition it's in for free and being delivered and all that stuff. And then if things don't come through, they can just pull the old, you're all just mean, you're racist, you're this, you're that, it's just dumb. I'm not saying I've never put out a post saying, in search of something free or cheap, ish, if available. If not, it is what it is and I'll make do. I'll come get it, and if I don't have a ride, I'll figure it out. I mean, it's just that simple. Craigslister wants an animator for 2 10-minute Disney quality cartoons for free every week. Oh my god. Greetings, I'm looking for a cartoon style animator for a very special project. It's best to contact me with your phone number so we can talk. This is a very special opportunity as it's completely original. It basically entails producing 2 roughly 10-minute animations per week. Very simple and old school style animation. What, you gonna hand draw it? Think of American animation styles from the 30s through the 60s, just for a rough idea. As I said before, the uniqueness of what I'm needing really requires to be discussed over the phone, but I can let you know right up front that I am looking for an older man to work with, and when I say older, I mean 50s plus. Wow, I feel attacked. Because of who I am and what I want to do. This is who I relate to best. And at the bottom of their post, you see, no pay. Amazing. Asking for free things is bad enough. But when you ask for free things that entail work on the other person's part, and a particular set of skills, which isn't something you just kind of pick up, I mean, asking for somebody to help maybe, rake the leaves in your yard because you got a bum back or something like that, and maybe need a little assistance. Somebody from your neighborhood that, maybe their kids want to help out for an hour or whatever. Hey, you kick them some lemonade and a, slice of pie or something. And, okay, great. But you're looking for somebody to actually come do a job for you. And I guarantee if you're doing this twice a week, 2 10-minute segments, and they're not that, it takes a while to do a 10-minute animated segment. I know nothing about animating except that, it's a skill, whether it's got the old school look or not. And if you're doing that regularly, twice a week, you're going to be making money. So if you're going to be making money or plan to make money at some point, you need to fill out a contract with somebody where they're going to get paid up front or they get a percentage or whatever. And if they, honestly, even if they took that deal where they're, you're kicking the can down the road, they'd be a fool to take that, quite honestly, exposure my ass. This one needs just a couple things. In Springfield, Oregon, free stuff. Anonymous member, of course. Hi everyone, sorry last minute, just looking for a couple things to help my daughter and granddaughter with their 4th. In search of chips, mayo, onion, burkettes. Can't have a fire without the burkettes. Paper plates, potato salad, macaroni salad, and fireworks. I hate asking, but she has 3 hamburgers and nothing else. Thank you all, God bless. She's in Springfield. Comment down below says it's just missing the part where they have no car and you'll need to deliver it. Another comment says, been following this up for years and have never seen anyone ask for fireworks, lol. The true definition of a choosing beggar. The county this person lives in has already declared it's the start of fire season, and there's already been some large brush fires from fireworks. This is literally the dumbest thing they could ask for. Listen, if this person doesn't have food in the house, 4th of July or not, like no food in the house, I guarantee you they're not paying any attention to the fire alert, danger, elevation, whatever. Red, green, blue, things are going to blow up if you look at them, if the wind blows, whatever. They're not paying any attention to that stuff, so trust me on that one. Asking for fireworks if you don't have food in the house, asking for anything, like that is kind of dumb if you don't have food in the house. And oh, by the way, if this person only has 3 hamburgers with none of the fixins, and I see you didn't ask for hamburgers on there, so I'm assuming those 3 hamburgers are going to stretch pretty far once you get chips, onions, mayo, and burkettes. But, I mean, seriously, you can cook them on the stove. But my question was, now that I've got myself sidetracked several times, my question was, if this person has no food in the house, why are their kids still there? I've seen people get in situations where the food gets low, and, it's a tight couple days, but there's enough for everybody to eat to get through a couple days until, food stamps come in, your SNAP card, your EBT card, the food bank's back open, whatever it is. But at least the parents making efforts to keep their children fed and clothed. This person doesn't sound like they're even making that kind of an effort. Somebody needs to step in and do something for the kids. The adult, she can fend for herself. But, if you're the grandma to these little kids, instead of asking other people for stuff for your grandkids, why don't you go take care of your grandkids? Did you see yourself on screen? Oh, dear. Oh, this one says they're so embarrassed. Hey, y'all, I'm in need of a new stroller. Constantly. Every time I go to meet someone, they'd say it's new and lie. I'm so embarrassed, so I'm really hoping someone has a new stroller. Or a gently used one. One of the top comments says, well, they're new at the store. Wait, that's what's embarrassing you? Getting a less than perfect stroller and not constantly asking? Really? Huh. I'd love to match them up with the people who were furious with me when I was a retail manager some years ago and wouldn't let them return for a full refund a brand new stroller that, one, was clearly very well used, worn tires and stains and holes throughout the fabric, and 2 we hadn't sold in about 3 years. Coincidentally, the rough age of the older child with them at the store that day. They thought if they argued with me for hours and called me racist, it would wear me down, but I couldn't override the register to make it work how they wanted it. They could fight over what a new stroller looks like, and I could go about my business. I love it when people in the retail environment come back in with something they've obviously used for years, and it used to work. I at least in the big blue and gold Wally World environment, I used to be Mr. Bike Builder for one of our local Walmarts as a part-time gig, I'd have to also take care of all the big toys, the skateboard aisle and the big battery-powered ride-on cars and things like that. Well, during the summer season, that's also where the pools are sold, in that same general area. And I remember one time having to put something back that was returned, and I'm not sure who decided it should go on the shelf, because as soon as I went up to the front to grab the cart with the box with the pool in it, and it's a snap-side pool, pretty decent size. The box was mutilated. It pretty much held the pool in there, but not by much. And there was water coming from every part of that box. And I mean green, nasty, looked like a duck pond. As soon as I opened the flap on the top of the box, I could tell that pool was at least a season or 2 old and had been sitting out all winter and developed a hole. So they figured, okay, I'm going to go buy the exact model. I'm going to stuff the old one back in the box the best I can and get a full refund on the new pool that we just replaced the old pool with. I mean, I guess I can't blame them if people are willing to let them do it. I don't know. It's just asinine. Wow, he's got a lot to say. There was a few models of bicycles that were the same way. People would buy, the Panama Jack, beach cruiser style bike or something like that. Take it home, use it. Probably most of the summer, it got pretty well used. And then it would sit outside chained to a pole under their deck for, the next 9 months. And then come spring season, everybody wants to start riding bikes again while, when everything's starting to thaw and get a little nicer out. And they look at it and see the rusted up chain and everything else. And they would be allowed to come in and return that bike. It was faulty in some way, shape, or form. The thing was a year old. Why are you letting people return? I mean, I totally blame management, upper management for this. It's not even the store necessarily, because it was a lot of corporate policies. I've heard they've changed a lot of that since I've been gone, but I don't know. It's just, I would never even think to do that. Dumb. Eggs on my anniversary. I just got home about an hour ago from an anniversary getaway with my husband. We have chickens and usually give most of our eggs away. The day we left, I was tagged in a post on Buy Nothing. An older lady looking for 2 dozen eggs. No problem, as we collect about a dozen a day. I PM'd the beggar and said I'd gladly bring her some as soon as we got back, on Tuesday, from our anniversary. Obviously, I wasn't on my phone most of the time, but spending time with my husband away from responsibilities. This lady literally messaged me twice a day saying, "Eggs," every day while we were on our trip. My husband told me to just ignore her until we got back home, but I was so annoyed by the time we got back into town, I told her $3 a dozen, including delivery. She immediately replied and said, "I'll just have my neighbor get me some." Then his commenter says, "I had something similar happen to me. I was going to give somebody some baby stuff and told them I was going away for the weekend and would meet them on Monday. I turned my phone off most of the time. When I got home, I literally had about 10 messages where the lady just kept saying, 'Hello, hello.' I gave her the stuff, but I told her, next time, remember, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Don't be rude to people who are trying to help you." I've had this happen before where, okay, I list something on Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. Most of the time, Marketplace. Craigslist was a little easier to deal with, but not by much. And say, listen, I'm busy the next couple days, but I can meet you, say Wednesday afternoon after 5, or Thursday after 5, or Friday after 5. I, give a pretty wide range there. 3 days in a row. And they'd say, okay, how about Wednesday? Fine. This is like talking on a Sunday. That means the next 2 days, I'm not available. We've already established a meeting time and everything. Meeting place, all that. And then all night, the first night, kept getting messages. "Hello? Are you there? When can we meet?" Well, I finally responded, I guess it was the next morning, Monday morning, and said, "Please see above where we discussed and agreed upon Wednesday after 5 at this place." And they said, Oh, well, do I have to wait that long? Wait a minute. Were you high when you wrote that? Like, seriously, look up. You agreed to this. Finally, just told him to go away. I wasn't giving him nothing, so. Influencer leaves small business a 1-star review for not delivering free products. 1-star review. Literally fraud with collaborating with influencers, and their behavior is disgusting. They call for collaboration and then cancel it. Unprofessional guys and their food must be like them. Then the establishment responds, Mofu Japanese Bakery. Mofu. That's fun to say. Dear Adam, we are disappointed to read your review, which contains untruthful facts. Well, if they're untruthful, they're not facts. Firstly, we're offering the collaboration and providing you with free products. You asked us to deliver the products to you personally. We already told you that we don't do deliveries. We would offer you the products if you would come to the store. A collaboration doesn't call for a delivery service. We were willing to reschedule your collaboration, but you became reluctant to reply to that, and then you left this negative review. In addition, everyone has different schedules, and we tried to accommodate to fix this issue. While we appreciate constructive criticisms, we don't tolerate false reviews. We've been very transparent in trying to work with you, and your review does not... And that's it. That's the end of it. I guess the person who posted this didn't see fit to leave the whole thing? Anyway, then down below, somebody who actually knows this person or knows of them says, this guy who wrote this 1-star review has left basically nothing but 1-star reviews and has called several businesses racist. What a peach. And can't be that famous because I can't find him online. The one below that says, I saw that. Literally everyone is a fraud and racist, thinking the businesses aren't the problem here. Absolutely. There was a phrase growing up. I don't know. I'm going to paraphrase and totally screw it up, but I'm going to say it anyway. If wherever you go, there's an asshole. If you're always running into assholes, no matter where you go, the bank, the grocery store, the gas station, your in-law's house, whatever. If everybody you run into and deal with is an asshole or racist or whatever, they're probably not the problem. It's probably you. So, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. I gave an elderly homeless man $5. He didn't just want the money. I had a long day serving and bartending last week. I also had some rude guests, so I decided to take a walk to blow off some steam after work. I live 3 blocks from my job. After walking a few blocks, I see an elderly man without a shirt using his walker both to walk and hold a bunch of bags for things like clothes, food, toothbrush, body wash, etc. Standard survival stuff when you're homeless in the city. But he was old and homeless, so I decided to ask, hey man, you alright? Do you need anything? He didn't approach me or do anything to indicate he was in need. This was just me looking out for a fellow human. He replies, yeah, actually, At that point, I had already pulled out 5 $1 bills and handed them to him. He accepts the $5 and says, actually, I really just need something to drink. I looked at his bags and he has both a gallon of water and an open 40-ounce beer. I live in a state in the U.S. where it's illegal to have an open container of alcohol in public, by the way. But I ain't no snitch. I'm confused and ask him, what? What do you mean? He asked me to go buy him booze at the 7-Eleven down the street. I think at this point it's fair to assume one of the 3 things. He thinks they'll ID him and he doesn't have an ID. He doesn't want to put on shoes or a shirt even though he has both, or he's banned from the store. Regardless, I told him, hey man, I gave you $5 and you can do whatever you want with that. Stay safe and have a good night. He stops me and practically grovels saying, man, things have been hard. Please just do me this one favor. I should have walked away, but I replied saying, dude, I gave you money. It's your choice what to do with it. Now, I gotta go. Eventually, when I turned away, he gave up on pressuring me and telling me details about his life to make me feel bad, and just grumbled about how nobody wants to help him, and it was just one drink, blah, blah, blah. That's actually pretty unusual. He must have been banned from the store, that's all I can figure. Because he probably went in there without shirts and shoes and whatever, and probably also tried to steal things a couple times or beg this, the clerk for a freebie or a handout or something. So he probably was banned. Usually it's the other way around though. Usually if you offer to buy somebody a meal or a drink or whatever, they don't want none of that. They want the cash. And usually it's because they either want alcohol, which you weren't offering to buy, or some kind of other paraphernalia of the illegal variety. So this one was very, very confusing to me. The guy got his $5 and he wasn't even grateful for that. He wanted you to actually go and do the running for him. How did he get the 40-ounce beer? He must have talked somebody into it at some point. I don't know. I don't know if it's a choosing beggar or just rude. I walked to my local grocery store with the youngest in a stroller and an older walking with me to go get food for the week, and I was stopped by an older guy. Looked stereotypically homeless and asked for money. All I had on me was a $50 bill to buy groceries. I told him I was heading in to buy groceries. Would he like food or drink? And he refused, so I walked in. Bought what would last us a week. I looked out on a lot of the meats, veggies, and such were on sale for the holiday coming up, and I ended up with $5 left. I ran into the guy again and offered him the $5, thinking maybe he'd want to buy hot food or something from Mickey D's by us, and his response was, "That's it? You don't have more money than this?" I honestly didn't know what to say. Definitely crossed my mind to ask for it back and get the kiddos an ice pop or something, like, "Geez, dude." Sharing because I seriously don't know how to react to that. Down below, I once gave a guy $2 while I was pumping gas, and he screamed that it wasn't enough, so I asked for it back. I didn't get it back. Recently, I was walking to a pizza shop to buy a slice. A homeless guy was out front and he asked me for money. I told him I don't carry cash, but I could get him a slice of pizza. He told me he was allergic to tomatoes and he just wanted cash. I told him I didn't have any and he responded, "All right, fine, go get me pizza." I didn't get him pizza. It's a shame to say. You want to think the best of your fellow humans and help out somebody who's down on their luck, when in reality, a lot of people are on the streets either by choice, not everybody, some are by choice, some are mentally ill, and they can't get their stuff together enough to actually live in a steady place, work steady, whatever. They started closing down all the asylums 40 years ago. What did they think was going to happen? Not that everybody needs an asylum, just some place where they can actually get help. My grandson's potty training this weekend. It's very intense. So anyway, you may hear some screaming and gnashing of teeth. Hey, stop that. Doesn't want me to have this chair. It's all a conspiracy. Anyway, back to the homeless thing. It's really quite unnerving when you get hounded constantly, with people panhandling. And, I just can't give to everyone. Every once in a while, I'll kick somebody a buck here and there, or, maybe even a $5 if it's a good week. But quite honestly, it gets to the point where it's kind of old, because a lot of these people, even if they are down on their luck, sincerely down on their luck and not choosing this lifestyle, they tend to be liars. I know that's a broad generalization, but it tends to be true. Like this guy. "I'm allergic to tomatoes. Oh, go ahead and give me the pizza." No, damn well he was going to eat that pizza. Now, even if it was true and he was allergic to tomatoes and he was going to give it away or barter it for beer or something else, I find that it's just mostly bullshit. I ran into a guy at Wawa, it's probably been close to 18, 20 years ago, who said, "Hey, I need a couple bucks for gas because my car ran out of gas and I need to get back to Dover and the bus and this and that." And I don't know why he was talking about a bus ticket if he just needed gas in his car. Of course, I didn't see him come from a car and I didn't see him go to a car after we spoke. And I told him, "Listen, man, I don't have any cash on me. I don't really carry cash even back then." And he mumbled and grumbled and walked away, and I thought that was it. The next morning, maybe 13 hours later, this guy comes up to me again. Now, even before I grew the beard, I wasn't that unmistakable. You would think that this guy would remember at least a few of the faces that he ran into through the evening the night before. And he comes up to me with the same exact story. And I said, "I talked to you last night, right?" "No, you didn't talk to me. I'm not even from around here. I wasn't here last night." And he just continued on with his BS story. I've seen that man almost, I would say, an average of 5 days a week, every week for the last almost 20 years in the same exact area, doing the same exact stuff. And the guy's at a point in his life now where he's using a walker to get around town, and he's still BSing everybody. And then, of course, don't even get me started on the professional beggars up north by the big complexes all around the Home Depots and the Walmarts and the Sam's Club, where they stand at the little divider in the intersection right near the major intersection. Homeless, need this, need that. And then at the end of their shift, they go and get in their car and go back to their apartment that they share with 3 other guys or whatever. Some of them actually made a career choice out of this. So what are you going to do? Can you discount and deliver it? This is from Jesus? On an iPhone 8 Plus? Or about an iPhone 8 Plus? He's selling his iPhone 8 Plus for $70. Buyer pops on and says, "Hello, is this still available?" The seller says yes. Is the price negotiable? Seller says the lowest I can do is $60, and that's $100 off the retail price. Buyer says, can you deliver? The seller says, so you want a discount and you want me to deliver? There's no more to the message, but oof. There must have been more that I just couldn't get to by clicking on it. It says, from a polite opening comment to calling you a stupid bitch. The life and times of a Facebook marketplace leech. Well done on the detective work as well. They must have found out something about this buyer. Who knows? It brings to mind a quote, and I don't know if it's a real quote, but I'm going to use it like it's a real quote, from Mike Tyson. Social media made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. So, there's that. Here's somebody posting on Free Stuff UK. Has anyone got a working iPhone, either 8 or above, as the 7 is due to become obsolete like the 6 and older has by next year, or a working iPad as long as it's not on the obsolete list below, and as close to Plumstead, Woolwich, Abbeywood as possible, please, as we don't drive. Of course you don't. I don't have a lot of money due to having to sofa surf after becoming homeless through a rental scam. It doesn't need to be on my particular network, as it's only going to be used as extra storage, as I currently have a 64GB iPhone that's so full with almost 20,000 photos alone. And due to this and the fact it's always trying to find more storage, I'm constantly having issues with apps shutting down. Messages won't come through, all my open tabs online disappear, and I don't receive calls, especially when I'm waiting for an important call and they can't get a hold of me. The only way to fix this, other than getting another device to transfer all my pics to, is I have to restart my phone. Everything comes back, but any calls or texts I receive while it's playing up never come through. The list of obsolete iPad models are as follows, and obsolete iPhones of any models from 7 and older. iPad 3G, iPad 3rd generation Wi-Fi plus cellular, iPad 3rd generation Wi-Fi plus cellular VZ, Verizon I guess, iPad 4th generation Wi-Fi plus cellular, iPad Authentic, iPad Wi-Fi plus 3G and 4G including Verizon, iPad 2 Wi-Fi 3G, 4G including Verizon. Are you kidding me? You've got a 64GB device. Delete some pictures, stupid. Not only are you expecting a different device, it's not even like you need it for trying to find a job, trying to find a place to live. None of the important stuff, keeping in touch with family. It's all about, not having to delete things off of your phone and the inconvenience of restarting it. Well, if you, clear up some storage space, you might have an easier time. So, geez. Oh, by the way, Amazon has a certain amount of free storage. Now, I don't know if you have to be a Prime member for this, so forgive me for my ignorance on that one. But I do know... Cat's dreaming. But I do know that there are some places online where you have a certain amount of free storage, even if you can dump just a couple hundred pictures just to get you by for a while. But, to be that picky, most of those iPads and other phones that you were talking about would probably suffice to be able to dump some of your images on. So I don't know. And then the gall because, again, you don't drive. So I once made the mistake of offering free pet sitting. I'm a teacher, and when I was younger, I found myself really bored over the summer holidays, but didn't want to take on a summer job. I was renting and wasn't allowed pets, so I posted an ad online offering free cat and dog sitting to anyone who needed help over the summer. I figured it could save some people some money and I could get some much needed fluffy cuddles. The first person who replied was interested in me visiting and walking his dog while he was working, which I loved the idea of, but then he started asking if I could do some light cleaning and yard work for him while I was there. Unfortunately, the only other person to reply before I deleted the ad asked me if I could stay overnight with his dogs, while he was there, in the same bed as him. Oh dear, how creepy. I lost faith in humanity very quickly that day, even if it was a paid gig. If I put out an ad saying, pet sitting, what makes you think I'm going to rake your yard, cut your grass, dust your house? That's just moronic. Like, why? Do you ask, when you have the serviceman come over and fix your washing machine, do you ask him to run a couple loads while he's there for you and maybe fold him and press him while he's at it? Duh. No. And then the second guy, looking for some kind of weird companionship. I don't know how you make the leap from free pet sitting to that. Does anyone have an iPhone 12 Pro Max they're willing to give me for free? Must be unlocked to any carrier. I don't have the money to get a new one, and my current phone took a crap, and I'm using a computer at the moment. Not even just a phone. An old phone sitting in a drawer to get me by for a while. an iPhone Pro 12 Pro Max. That's what you're asking for free. Listen, if you don't have the money for, let's look at that. Okay, so if you don't have the money to get a new phone, then you can't be up here saying, getting all weird and particular about which phone you get. If it's an iPhone, great. If it's an Android, great. If it makes phone calls, texts, and can get on the web, at least with Wi-Fi, great. Now, if you can't afford to get a new phone, you probably can't afford a plan either. So honestly, you'd be almost better off with just a straight talk phone. And before anybody craps on straight talk phones, I've had some really good ones for a really decent price for my older sons. And if I didn't have so many things going on, I'd probably try one just to see if I could use even their cameras are decent. You can get up to date Galaxies and iPhones and things like that on your straight talk plan. I'm a cheap bastard, so I'll probably buy used, but still upgrade from the model that I have, and then just transfer it onto a plan, whether it's straight talk or my Verizon account or whatever. It would be nice to not have to be locked into a contract, but especially since they all run on the same towers most of the time anyway. So, all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stories today. Something a little bit different, not something I'm going to do every day, but just like the tales of Am I the A-hole? It's probably a good filler once every couple weeks or so, and we'll see how it goes. All right, till the next one, we'll see you.